Hi everyone and welcome to The Learning Ladder. My name is Isabella and today I'm doing a review on All About Spelling Level 1. We have been using the All About Reading Level 1 curriculum in our kindergarten year, and when we finished that we started All About Spelling Level 1. I think they go perfectly together, so if you use All About Reading Level 1, then you will find that when you start this programme your child will be very, very familiar with the concepts, because it uses very, very similar methods to All About reading, from the word cards to the review, and it also follows pretty much the pattern in what they learnt and through reading. So we know what phonograms to use when they started learning the short vowels, when they moved on to the consonant teams. It follows the same pattern, so you'll probably find that your child will whiz through it if they're anything like mine, because she was so familiar with the concepts in All About Reading, so it transferred so well to All About Spelling. Now, when you actually purchase the pack, depending on which one you get, you'll get the Level 1 Teacher's Guide. You also get your cards. Now, depending on which kit you buy, you may get the box or you may not. It just depends which one you purchase. And in the box you have your phonogram cards, which are the same from All About Reading Level 1. You have your sound cards, key cards and word cards. So what I particularly like about All About Spelling Level 1 is that you are not just memorising words to spell. You're actually also learning the rules and why words are spelt the way they are, and I think that sets you up to be a great speller in the future, because obviously if you come across a word that you haven't memorised before but you know the rules, you're going to find it a lot easier to try and figure out how you actually should spell. So, for example, we start off very basic, so we do all the short vowels, then we move on to including our consonant teams, and we learn the rules. So, for example, when C says S, or when it says K sound, things like when it should be K or C when they're spelling, when it should be consonant team CK or K. It's just fabulous. It's very thorough, but it's also very simply explained, so it's easy for you to then teach. I'll show you an example lesson. So for example, in this lesson we are, hang on a second, lost my page. In this lesson we are using the nk sound. So we'll do our review, which if you've done All About Reading, it's very similar. So you do your phonogram cards, any that you need to review, sound cards, key cards, word cards. So previously spelt words, you can refresh if they were having any difficulty with them. To be honest, we haven't but had any difficulty with any of the words, because as I said, All About Reading is so thorough. I think that it set her up for a great foundation with spelling, because obviously they teach them phonetically how to read. So for my daughter it's been very a simple transfer to then switch her knowledge from reading to spelling. So for example, in this lesson we are teaching what letters usually would go before and which letters usually don't. So you know, it's explaining in what situations they would use that consonant team. And then we have our spell with tiles section. So these are the new words they would be practicing. You can either use the tiles or the app, which I'm going to show you shortly. Then once they're familiar with those, they would then practice spelling them on paper or using them in some way. We often make stories with them. Then there's a more words section where they're practicing additional words that they could use, and then there's the dictate phrases section. So that picks up on words that are spelt for the lesson that they've just learned, and then also previous words, so they're still practicing those previous words that they have learnt. Now, if I was to suggest any improvement, I would recommend or wish that they had some kind of games that went along with some of the rules. I understand possibly perhaps why they haven't, and maybe it's to do with the fact that they don't want spelling to be this long subject, and adding additional games and activities might, you know, extend the time, and they don't feel it's necessary. And from a knowledge point of view, it hasn't been necessary, because she's just picked it up. She hasn't needed those reinforcement games, but I just think they're fun. So I wish that they would perhaps consider adding some games into it, as they do in the All About Reading programme. But in terms of whether they are necessary, she has picked it up without them. It's just me wishing that they would perhaps add a few here and there. Okay, so the app. I'm just going to open our tablet. Now, I have recently upgraded my daughter's tablet, so she does have the 10-inch, but before she had the 7-inch, and it worked just fine on that. So here we go. So this is the, I hope the glare's not too bad. This is the All About Reading and Spelling app, so you can actually use it for both All About Reading and Spelling. Actually, I'm going to turn you around because I think you get a better view that way. Okay, so here is the app. So at the top you can select whether you're doing the All About Spelling or Reading program, what level you're on, so it has all the levels and what lesson you're on. So for example, what lesson did I show you? I showed you lesson number, well, I'll just go to lesson 21. So what it does is it only shows the student the tiles for the lesson they're up to, so they're not being overwhelmed with additional things that they don't need. And as you can see, the vowels are in red, the consonants are in blue, as they are on the tiles, and you also have your consonant teams over here. Obviously there'd be more depending on what level you're on. I'm just trying to get rid of the glare off the light. Then you also have a blank vowel tile and a blank consonant tile if you're wanting to do any missing type word activities. So it's very simple. You just drag the letters across to where you need them to go. If you want to delete any, you can just delete one at a time, or if you want to just delete the whole word, then you can just get rid of them that way. So they can practice their spelling on here. They can also do their reading. It's a very, very simple app to use, but it's very effective. My daughter really likes using it. You can also, as I said, you put the missing letters in if you're trying to help them understand a specific concept. So I highly recommend the app. So we've really enjoyed All About Spelling Level 1. As I said, we have, did I say? I don't know if I did. We have actually purchased All About Spelling Level 2, and we will be starting that shortly. So I will let you know at the end of the year how we find All About Spelling Level 2. But we have thoroughly enjoyed it. It has been a great introduction to spelling for my daughter, and I would recommend it. So thanks so much for watching. If you've got any questions, let me know. Take care, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.